Hey guys, so in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk being murdered during the Turning Point USA event in Utah, Hasan Piker has seized the moment to make Charlie Kirk's death all about himself. So you have to watch this clip of him reacting to Asmon Gold, who's another popular streamer, and Hasan just makes the entire situation about himself. Totally narcissistic.
Practice genuine terrorism on a daily.
Dude, he's such a pussy. Just say you want me to be fucking killed, okay? What is this? What is this wishy-washy like, oh, the left gets to do terrorism and the left is defended for doing terrorism and they should actually experience the violence themselves. That's what he's trying to say.
And then, congratulate each other about how moral and how good they are for doing it because something bad that happened in Palestine or something bad that Donald Trump did 3 years ago. This is just
Twitch partner streamer, by the way.
Simply a response. This is what's going to happen. And so, and I think that that's probably what it's going to take for these left-wing people to realize what a bad idea what they've been doing is. Because until it starts happening to them, until they start having people that are their friends or, their, like icons that they look up to, the same way people look up to Charlie.
Dude, this is so fucking stupid, okay? This person is more my contemporary on the opposing side than fucking this rat is. I was supposed to debate him 2 weeks from now. What the fuck are you talking about? I've known this.
The format of Twitch streaming is so repulsive to me. I guess people like the personalities on here. It's difficult for me to actually put myself in the mind of someone who willingly subjects themselves to Hasan Piker speaking. That's a very difficult thing for me to imagine. But I think what Asmon Gold here is saying is just that the left for years has been fomenting violence against the right, and they've been doing that by saying things like, if you have these moderate conservative positions on transgenderism, on gay marriage, on immigration, any slew of things, then you are literally Hitler, and we know what has to be done with you. And they'll be more explicit about it too. I mean, there are plenty of people right now on Blue Sky celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. There are people on TikTok and Instagram making dancing videos. They're dancing in celebration of this father's death and that he's leaving behind a wife and 2 young children. So I think all that's being pointed out here is that leftists are encouraging this sort of thing, violence against people because you didn't like what they said, and that they probably won't like it very much, no one will, if that becomes the norm, because right now it's almost universally one-sided.
Person for longer than I've known Asmon Gold, he has abhorrent views. Okay, and I despise his views, but he's over here using the death of a dude I was supposed to debate 2 weeks from now to fucking call for violence in the pussiest way possible without naming names here too, because he doesn't want to get banned. He doesn't want to go that far because he already experienced that. He already experienced that issue one time when he actually said, Palestinians deserve genocide. While he's fucking crying on the sidelines about 86-47. He's literally saying, until the left start dropping like flies, they won't understand the violence that they're causing in this country. Why the fuck would I want to debate Charlie Kirk if I wanted him to be killed?
Total straw man. I don't think that Asmon Gold is saying that Hasan Piker specifically wanted Charlie Kirk to be killed. What he's saying, and examples like 86-47 are a good example, what he's saying is that these very casual threats on prominent conservatives' lives are totally acceptable among the left. You will not be cast out. In fact, you'll be invited on Stephen Colbert to laugh the whole situation away if you're James Comey and you post a picture of seashells that you happen to find on the beach that just so happen to suggest that maybe we should assassinate the president. Now, Hasan had more thoughts on Charlie Kirk's murder, and in this clip, he is really angry at the media for, quote-unquote, laundering Charlie Kirk's reputation. He's warning people, don't launder the reputation of Charlie Kirk.
Mind, be cognizant of what kind of reputation you are laundering. Unless you personally think that this kind of reputation laundering is worthwhile because you don't actually fear this kind of attitude taking hold in society. I doubt they would give you the same reception. No, I would get no reception. I don't expect that. I don't care. They're shying away from saying he was even a controversial figure. And the reason why they're doing that is because they're worried about.
Hold on. I don't know who they is, but the left-wing media, the legacy media, is not at all shying away from saying that Charlie Kirk was a controversial figure. I mean, the New York Times has run several pieces on Charlie Kirk's death. They've had several authors write obituaries for him, some better than others. I thought that Ross Douthat's obituary was extremely well done, extremely well written, very touching. But I believe in their official obituary, they did refer to Charlie Kirk as controversial, and they listed all of his controversial statements, such as, you know, men can't be women. Now, this is obvious, but they would never do that to a left-wing politician or a left-wing political figure, despite the fact that I would say that people like Hasan Piker are controversial or extreme or radical. The New York Times does not characterize people to the left in that manner. That is solely reserved for people who are even slightly to the right. You also saw cable news use Charlie Kirk's death as the opportune time to talk about all the hate he was fomenting. You had Matthew Dowd on MSNBC who said, well, you know, you can't think these terrible things and say these terrible thoughts and not expect terrible consequences, except you can, Matthew, or you're supposed to be able to in America, do what Charlie does, which is just to sit down with people and talk to them and say what he thinks and challenge them and maybe learn something if they have some good points.
The backlash from the right. But if this is his output, you obviously should be a little bit more careful in the way that you reflect upon this person's entire career, especially when you're talking about his political contributions. Do you understand? Because that is what his political contributions are. This doesn't mean he deserved to be shot and killed, but that's what his political contributions are. So if you turn around in the aftermath.
Hold on. So he is zeroing in on a tweet from Charlie talking about Zohran Mamdani, which says 24 years ago, a group of Muslims killed 2,753 people on 9/11. Now a Muslim socialist is on pace to run New York City. These are statements of fact. He actually hasn't even put an opinion here. Indeed, many people were killed in a terrorist attack on 9/11. And now, Zohran Mamdani, who is a member of the Democratic Socialists of America and who is Muslim, ostensibly, is on pace to win the mayoral election. Now, I sort of disagree with Kirk's analysis here. I mean, I think that Mamdani is not really a threat because he is this true believer in the Quran or something. I think he's a threat because he's a true believer in socialism and in these really destructive policies, like, you know, springing people from Rikers or cashless bail or abolishing the police, or I could go on and on and on. But what Charlie Kirk is saying here is pretty sensible. I mean, go back to the 90s or the 2000s and tell that New York that, hey, guess what? In a couple decades, your leader is going to be a Muslim socialist. I think most people would have some problems with that, or a lot of people. It's just that the left has been so successful in promoting their ideology as neutral and normal and reasonable, all while moving farther to the left every year, every month, that at this point, having the opinions of a normal guy from 20 years ago, or even 10 years ago, makes you this radical extremist.
Of his untimely demise and launder his reputation, you're basically saying, I like this political contribution. Or at the very least, I don't care that this is the political contribution that he has done to American discourse. It is a normalization of some of the most heinous, racist, fascist forms of thought.
Well, guess what, Hasan? This probably comes as no shock to anyone who's ever seen this show, but yes, I do like Charlie Kirk's political contributions, or at the very least, I don't have a problem with them. But I really wouldn't expect, any sort of memorial for Charlie Kirk, any sort of remembrance of his life that wasn't totally narcissistic and incorrect, because it is Hasan Piker after all. But Hasan's narcissism is pretty much to be expected if you've ever seen a clip of him. And if you have seen a clip of him, which I just showed you, I apologize, because he's annoying to watch. Okay, that is it for today, and I will see you in the next one.